Welcome to Coach K Answers 5 Reps with Coach K, where I answer 5 client questions that I've received this week. Before we get cracking at answering these questions, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of my new content, training tips, or tutorials. Let's get started. Question number 1. What's the biggest mistake clients make when they're trying to grow muscle fast? My first answer to that question is trying to grow it fast in the first place. Don't make the mistake of absolutely rushing your progress and biting off way more than you can chew. Starting a program that is way too intense, has way too much work, or is way too many times per week to stay consistent is the #1 killer of gains. You gotta be all about absorbing yourself into the process of building muscle, steadily beating your performance in your training over time in order to build muscle effectively. Question number 2. How do I know if I'm training hard enough? So there's 2 answers to this question, one for strength and one for hypertrophy or muscle building. So the muscle building side of things is super easy to answer. Basically anything from around 4 reps in the tank to 0 reps in the tank all builds muscle. This means that if you're doing a set of 10, you feel like you could have done just 4 more reps. That is within the threshold of optimal muscle building. So the way that I tell clients to figure out how hard they should be training, or if they're training hard enough, is if you're doing a set with strict form, reps 1 through 8, for example, in this set of 10, reps 1 through 8, they move up pretty fast and you're able to press them away from your body very quickly. If 9 and 10 start to slow down, you're starting to get into that threshold of 3 to 4 reps in the tank. And that is well within the limits of training hard enough. Now, we got to remember, to train hard enough on a progression, on a program, you need to beat that current challenge level every week. You want to make sure that in your training, this level of difficulty is in fact going up. Now, to train hard enough for strength, we like to think about strength training in terms of a 1 rep max. So if 100% is the most weight you can hit for 1 rep, you want to train somewhere in the range of 70 to 80% of this 1 rep max. So with strength training, it's really easy. Make sure you're training in the 3 to 5 rep range. Make sure you have reps with great form. They're nice and clean. You're able to push the weight hard and fast. You're able to add a little bit of weight each week, taking pauses for deloads every so often. So long as you're able to do those things, and so long as you're within like the 70 to 80% of your max range, you'll be training hard enough for strength. Question 3. What's the gym rule that I wish everyone followed? So in terms of gym etiquette, the biggest thing I wish people would adhere to is not leaving your stuff in the walkways. If you're at a commercial gym, local gym, whatever it is, the biggest problem for any trainer is having to step over other people's stuff. I hate when I'm having to navigate a busy, crowded gym space and there are just like duffel bags and squat shoes and squat sleeves and bags of gummy worms just sitting all over the place. So if you're at a gym, make sure you keep your stuff consolidated in your gym bag out of the walkway. Make sure you're not inconveniencing all the other people at the gym by leaving your crap all over the place. You're at a gym to train. It is not your living room, so be sure to keep your stuff with you at all times. Question 4. Do you need cardio if your goal is specifically muscle growth? So strictly speaking, the answer is no. You don't need to have cardio in your program if your goal is optimal muscle building. When we're planning our training for a specific goal, we need to keep the fundamental principle of specificity in mind. Make sure the majority of your program is in fact good muscle building training that's going to give you a well-rounded physique or provide you with a good muscle building stimulus. So don't just fill up your program with cardio because it's not going to build muscle. That being said, there is definitely a lot of benefit for having cardio in your general fitness program. Not all of us are bodybuilders. Not all of us are, physique athletes or have a photo shoot or care about that at all. If you're a general trainee and your goal is just longevity, fitness, I want to live longer, I want to be healthier, then cardio is definitely essential. You want to make sure that you have some dedicated cardio in your training. Again, 3 times a week, 30 minutes is a great place to start for most people. Question number 5. What is my take on evidence-based versus bro lifting? So this really speaks to a common phenomena that's been showing up on the internet a lot lately, which is that there's a lot of really good evidence-based or science-based muscle building educators out there right now. Some really good ones that I personally follow are guys like Jeff Nippard, Renaissance Periodization, Dr. Mike Israetel with RP Strength, Dr. Eric Helms with 3D Muscle Journey, Menno Henselmans. These are all great channels to check out on YouTube. These are also great accounts to check out on Instagram, where they help analyze a lot of the most cutting edge strength conditioning, bodybuilding research out there, and they put it out there in a digestible way for people like myself, fitness enthusiasts and otherwise. We can absorb this material and apply it in our own training, or in my case, my clients' training. So when it comes to my own philosophy, I am definitely a big proponent of using evidence-based methods, making sure that what you do with your own training, what you do with your clients' training is backed up by the broad body of scientific research, that it is backed up by reputable sources and individuals that I trust. That's something that I highly value. Now, that being said, I don't hop on the bandwagon of just finding the most recent study and just radically applying that in my own training, or just applying it across the board in my clients' programs. I am a big proponent of common sense and practicality in the gym. I know from years of working myself in the fitness space, whether it's in my own training or years of working with clients, that you need to take a really balanced approach. In the case of new studies that seem to radically upset the way we think about training, range of motion being a good example. Recently, Lengthened Partials, doing a rep at only the most lengthened portion of a movement. For example, if you're doing bench press, maybe just the bottom half of the bench press lift, or in the case of a bicep curl, doing the bottom half of a bicep curl. That is a lengthened partial. In this case, it was found that that was even more effective at growing muscle than doing the entire rep. I don't just have all my clients doing lengthened partials, and I don't even do lengthened partials myself. I'm going to wait and see what the body of research really looks like after more of these studies are conducted. And I also know that, like, common sense wise, for my clients and for myself, I think there's a lot of value in being able to do the full rep. That might not just be encompassed in the question of, does this build a lot of muscle? So I find when it comes to new studies that seem to have these big, conclusive, radical results, I always apply those results and how I should use them against the test of common sense and what I would tell my clients to do. All right, guys, that's going to do it for 5 reps with Coach K. Thank you for tuning in to Coach K Answers this week. Be sure to share this video with all of your family and friends if you found it useful. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get all of my new content, training tips, and the plethora of tutorials I have here for free. Be sure to check out any of my other videos. If you've enjoyed this content today, drop a comment below so I can answer your questions next week in 5 reps with Coach K. And remember, guys, if you want to make progress, you've got to make progress. I'll see you guys all later.